Right. Politics and religion, to begin with, and those go hand in hand in Northern Ireland. As of midnight last night, we aligned with the rest of the UK and the Republic of Ireland and saw the legislation of same-sex marriage and abortion. So both would be legal, whereas in Northern Ireland they haven't been up until now. Christian
campaigner Andrea Williams, who's with us this morning, she says the decision is shameful. Alongside her, journalist Melissa Thompson, who thinks, Melissa, this is a great step forward and has brought Northern Ireland in line with everybody else now.
Absolutely. I'm really happy for my fellow gays in Northern Ireland that they can finally, if they want to, cement their relationships in this way. And it's about time. I don't think we should be thankful for it, because I think it should have always been the case. And I think that Northern Ireland's been so behind on these issues is a bit of a tragedy. So I'm just really happy that finally...
But you're happy because... Are you a religious person, should I ask?
No, I was raised a Roman Catholic,
right.
But I'm no longer religious.
Well, they often say once a Catholic, always a Catholic. And the thing... Well, you disagree with that, but I would say that in Northern Ireland, Andrea, people do not understand that people vote according to their religion. Right? So you wouldn't think of voting Labour because you're a Catholic, or Conservative because you're a Protestant, or Lib Dem because you're Jewish, or whatever it happens to be. But in Northern Ireland, you vote a certain party if you're Catholic, or a certain party if you are Protestant. And those people believe, a lot of them, 50% of people in Northern Ireland attend church regularly. And people who believe that they live in a Christian country. And they think that these are not Christian values which are being imposed on them.
Well, I think that we've got to understand here that through a piece of administrative legislation, really, a tidying up piece of legislation, we now have imposed upon the people of Northern Ireland abortion, access to abortion and same-sex marriage. These are not things that have been discussed in their legislative assembly. These things are not things that have been put to the people. And we can see from the response of the people in Northern Ireland that it's something about which there is much debate. There hasn't even been a debate. These things actually shape...
Can you explain to people, Andrew, why that is? This legislation, just to explain why.
Because we have a parliament that doesn't sit and hasn't sat for 3 years.
So you feel this has been foisted upon you with no debate?
It has been foisted upon the people of Northern Ireland. And these go to the very heart of actually what it means to be human. How do you view human life? So for the people of Northern Ireland, there are 100,000 people alive in Northern Ireland today because abortion was not extended to Northern Ireland.
Well, all we're doing here, Melissa, is to try and outline the things are a wee bit different in Northern Ireland, that people do vote in those religious lines. But the thing is, I would like to say, in defence generally of Northern Ireland, is that they are very embracing of LGBT in general. But then you scratch the surface, and if pushed, it comes down to religion, like a lot of things. And the main party, the DUP, rely on a very fundamentalist Protestant vote, and those people believe in the Bible.
Yeah.
So they believe in the sanctity of life, and they believe that gay relationships are wrong.
But I don't understand the opposition to gay marriage, because
it's in the Bible.
There's so many gay people living in sin, which I think is a bit odd.
But then it's not formally recognised, I suppose. That's the thing. I mean, it's all fine as long as it's not.
But I think this is why I believe religion and politics are incompatible. I think, you know, in any nation, not everyone in Northern Ireland believes in the Bible. So why should the law be dictated by what's written in it? That's just not representative of the entire country. And I despise this argument. It's like, I'm not homophobic, but then the moment you try to give gay people equal rights, then people show their true colours. And I don't understand. I mean, we spoke, you know, the campaign against sodomy, the DUP ran. Why are people so obsessed with what other people, you know, how people live their lives? Like, what harm is it
Again, I just
causing?
go back to him. I'm not excusing it. I'm only explaining.
Sure.
The fundamentalist vote for a party like the DUP comes from a religious, fundamental Christian background.
I understand that, but it doesn't make it right.
And we always legislate according to something. So there is nothing that's neutral. It's a myth that secularism, for instance, is neutral. So everything has a philosophical, legal backdrop. And the laws, indeed, of this country have been based on the idea of human dignity, which comes from the Bible. I mean, that's where the laws across the United Kingdom have historically been based. And so I think we need to begin to understand that we...
But isn't that changing? That has changed a lot.
Well,
and so for
but
people
not,
like Melissa, who's
yeah.
not religious, and many of her friends who she say are not religious, this is just bringing it into line with modern-day society.
But the point
so what about the
is,
people that don't believe in the Bible?
Yes, well, the point about this is that for the people of Northern Ireland, they've not had a chance to say what they believe in and how they want to structure their society. And they're currently, because of their Christian worldview, as an assembly, they've held onto the dignity of life from the moment of conception to the point of natural death.
Andrea, isn't it a matter of choice that you have your religious beliefs and other people don't, and so you can all do what you want. You don't have to have a same-sex marriage. You don't have to agree with abortion, but it provides people that don't have the same religious beliefs to be able to access those things.
Well, I think that what happened last night at midnight was that, for instance, with regard to law, without the people of Northern Ireland having a say, abortion was extended there. Now, there is an argument that's long been held about the protection of the most vulnerable in society, from the point of conception to the point of natural death. As I said before here, that 100,000 people are alive in Northern Ireland because they believe in they believe in the personhood of the unborn child. Now, that is worth a debate, and that's worth a parliamentary debate, and that's worth a debate against all the competing worldviews, because, you see, there is always imposition.
But it looks like you're not going to get that debate now, because this has been passed, hasn't it? This will now be legal from
So this is...
I
just explain to the viewers at home, this is complicated on so many levels.
It is complicated,
Basically, this has happened, and, you know, Melissa, it'd be very interesting, again, to hear your take on things. But basically, their politicians do not fulfil their responsibilities. They would argue with me they are fulfilling their responsibilities by boycotting the Assembly in Northern Ireland. Basically, we don't have a government in Northern Ireland. Direct rule from London, where this is all standard throughout the rest of the UK. Somebody took the opportunity to say, well, look, if you're not going to sit and make your own laws, we're going to make them for you. That's what happened. So there is neglect from politicians then. Then at the last minute, they try and pretend they care on all of this. And it is a big mess. It
Melissa,
is an
what do you
absolute
think?
mess.
The DUP leader, Arlene Foster, said this was a shameful...
Arlene Foster... And anyone who aligns themselves on the same side of the moral fence as Arlene Foster and the DUP, I think they're the shameful ones. The things that she said about, sort of gay people in the past, she and her party, I think, are so stuck in the Middle Ages, and this is the society we live in now. There is nothing wrong with being gay.
The protection for the unborn child is a deeply held conviction, of course.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people really feel...
And I can understand that. And Andrew, you spoke about sort of vulnerable people, and I think in this debate there's never any consideration given to the vulnerability of women who are pregnant and don't want to be pregnant. And I think, you know, like we never
they're
think
holding
about...
a life within them. They're holding a life, and that's
complete disregard. They are not merely vessels. There is no regard.
No, they are not. They need to be looked after. We need to find a way of looking after the woman in an unplanned pregnancy and the child that is within her.
She can make the decision herself.
Well, the point is, we can come alongside the woman and bring life to the woman. You see, to help her through it.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like to carry a baby to term that, for whatever reason, you did not want to do that?
Well, very often people, when they do actually have an abortion, they feel guilt, they feel shame, they never speak again about it. And what we want to do is bring this into the open. So
of course, they feel guilt and shame because of people like you, Andrea.
No, because I want to. No, not at all. Because what we want to do is protect that vulnerable life that's within the woman, look after the woman. And see life, because life brings life.
You want to look after the woman if she agrees with what you agree with. And I think you can't come across as a compassionate person if your compassion has reservations.
Some of the most joyful relationships I have are with women that I was involved with, actually helping them to choose life and not abortion. And now some of those children...
You've just said, you've used the word choose. It's the choose, it's having choice.
But isn't it wonderful? You see, the wonderful thing about Northern Ireland at the moment is that where there was laws that said no to taking the life of the unborn child, Today it means that there are 100,000 people in Northern Ireland that are alive, and that's good news for them.
What about the same-sex marriage, then? Let's move on to the same-sex marriage. Why do you disagree with same-sex marriage? What's your objection?
It's not just about... I think, you know, that it's not just about individual rights, because actually we live in community, and how we base our society, how we formulate family, how we formulate first building blocks is really vital for the vibrancy and well-being of
so if
how
Melissa wanted to marry...
Melissa
has a partner. If Melissa wanted to marry her partner, which will be legal in Northern Ireland now,
yes.
From January, would you look at and see that as a legal marriage?
No one is stopped. There will be many people in this country, and there was many people in this country that hold firmly and deeply to the view that marriage is the lifelong union of one man and one woman for life.
But what about the people that don't hold that view? They now legally have the same rights.
And many people will go on to recognise that whether or not that's in law, that is not something that is actually true marriage.
So you wouldn't recognise that? Morally, you wouldn't recognise it?
There is a reality. There is a reality out there that no one is... that in law, what we're saying, was being recognised in law as marriage for centuries as being one man and one woman. Just because today we say it's two men and two women can't suddenly overhaul the whole history of marriage. But also, it's not just in individuals' rights. It's actually about how we view family, how we view raising children.
How do you view family, Melissa?
I think family, you know, is made up of all sorts of different people, and I think for the most part it's quite wonderful. Me and my partner have a daughter, and you know, she can't speak yet, but you know, she's happy and she's healthy, and you know that you have, and this whole idea of a man and a woman. Sometimes parents raise their children in one-parent families. Sometimes you have two mums and a dad, and I think as long as there's love, it doesn't matter. And ultimately, Andrea, with all due respect, hard luck, because we are moving forward and the law has changed.
OK, so Melissa's saying that is modern-day life. Thank you both very much indeed there. Melissa Thompson for the changes and Andrea Williams against those changes. A watershed moment as gay marriage and abortion have been legalised in Northern Ireland.